So before we dive in the questions, tell us who you are, what your company does, and how you ended up in hemp textiles.
So, my name is Shripat Jagirdar. I'm the founder of Weaving Vibes. My journey in textiles started in 2012. I just finished my diploma in man-made fibers and fabrics from Sasmira College in Woli. Straight away got into the family business. We were making the generic polyesters, cotton, and cotton blended fabrics. This is a mix with my background from spirituality, basic lesson of save water, save food, take as much as you need. And in this journey, when I joined the textile business and I understood that, like I mentioned, fashion being the second largest pollutant, I thought that there has to be, and kind of wanting to find another alternative to the synthetic fibers that we use. In that journey of understanding what are sustainable fibers, what does sustainability actually mean, and how does it play a role in the value chain, I came across a bunch of fibers, out of which hemp was, the most appealing in terms of properties, has a potential of being a mass scale fiber and fabric. And, looking at all of that, I thought, this is the best fiber to choose and start my sustainable journey with.
Great. Okay, so my first question to you is be honest, did you think hemp fabric was the only for hippies before entering in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the people have that perception about hemp, which even I did, but it's a very outdated way of looking at hemp. That perception was something that kind of intrigued me towards the fabric, but then as I went on, I kind of understood and learned the fabric. I understood it is so versatile in its application that it just doesn't start and end at fashion. It goes beyond fashion into other applications like home textiles, accessories, and so on. So yeah, I did think it was a hippie fabric, but with giving it its due attention in the entire value chain, it can turn out to be a really nice premium high-end fabric.
Is this hemp same as marijuana?
They're not the same. They're from the same family of plants, but they're cousins. They're not twins. So in the physical appearance, they look exactly the same. But as we know, marijuana contains THC, which is a psychoactive substance that kinds of gets you high, which is at 0.3% or less than 0.3% in the hemp plant. So though it looks the same, you can't use it for drug related activities. The plant is not for that. It's an industrial plant that can be used for multiple purposes, whether it's to do with seeds, whether it's to do with protein, whether it's to do with construction, textiles, pharmaceuticals, medicinal, all of those applications are there with hemp. Marijuana is basically to do with all drug related activity. So they're not the same plant. A lot of people get confused with that. They're totally different and have totally different properties.
Okay, so in India, why the like this fiber is not produced? Is
Um,
there sorry, like is there any government rule to have this crop harvested? Is there?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it was legal, I think, till around the 50s or 60s. That's when hemp or ganja or bhang, as it's known in India, went under the Narcotics Act. So NDPS has an act under which they stated that bhang as a plant is banned substance. So that's when the entire blanket ban came on India, and they were only focusing on the psychoactive substance of that plant and ignored all the other potential good properties that the plant had to offer, which is now getting reversed. So we have the Ayush ministry, under which all Ayush doctors that are registered can prescribe you bhang and this medicinal marijuana over the table now. And we're also seeing states like Uttarakhand and Himachal where today me and you can go and get license over there and do our own farming of hemp. So the turnaround is coming. It's coming a bit late because now the Western countries have kind of opened up all areas for this plant. And though it's a plant known to us from our Vedic times, it's now kind of getting its recognition back in India.
I'm very sure that many viewers must be having this question in mind, and you have answered it beautifully. What is the biggest myth about hemp fabric that frustrates you most?
There are many myths. The biggest myth that we get is, will this fabric get you high? People are often worried about that. Another myth that we get is everyone has this perception that hemp will be as rough and rugged like jute. So they're very surprised that, is that something you can wear? And as I told you, hemp is one of the strongest natural fibers in the world and gets softer and stronger with every wash. So it's a beautiful fabric to wrap around your body with. And the perception that it is strong and rough, yes, it is strong, but it is not rough at all. It is as smooth or even smoother and softer than linen.
What is the one thing about hemp that even textile people don't know?
I guess the one thing about hemp that textile people are still learning is its versatility. That one fiber can kind of encompass all textile needs, whether it's to do with fashion, whether it's to do with home textile, whether it's to do with accessories, whether it's to do with outdoor textile needs. It's such a strong fabric fiber with such amazing properties that there are very few fibers like this that can blend across industries. That is one thing we in India are learning and understanding of the best way to optimize this fiber for its final use.
So when, like, being from textile family, when you have must have mentioned that you'll be doing hemp. So being a textile people also, they must be discovering so many new things from you then.
Yeah. That was the biggest. So it took me a while to go home and say, like, this is what I want to do, because coming from textiles, they would be like, pick from the fibers that we know, and especially, as I told you, it has a connotation with marijuana. So opening about that, and it was the first breakthrough for me was, oh, if I can't convince my family at home that this isn't what the perception that you'll think it is, then I don't know how I'm going to convince the customer. So it started at home with mom, dad, and the rest of the family, and it was all a learning. But we're still learning. Textile is one, I think, industry where, especially in manufacturing, you can't know it all. There are new problems every single day. It can be in a supply chain above you, below you. It's fascinating. It's amazing, and you have to have the ability to adapt, learn, and be flexible. Otherwise, this industry isn't for you. So it's superbly exciting in that sense, and that was why we took on hemp, and that's why I got support for taking on hemp from my father as well. Is for him, being in the industry for 35 years, he was also fascinated with something new, and not only new but with a promising future. That kind of combination fell well in his lap as well, and here we are today.
Does hemp really need less water than cotton?
It does. There are plenty of research out there. I wouldn't want to say 90% and exaggerate on a particular number, but hemp is one of the least water consuming crops out there. How much percentage of water differs from 50 to 90 depending on the region, depending on the practices, depending on the soil, and all of that varies. But there's a blanket research that says at least 40 to 50% water consumption is reduced when growing a hectare of hemp crop versus a hectare of cotton.
I think, as we say, this is antimicrobial fabric. So maybe this is also that the insects and fertilizer
Correct.
use also is lesser
Is
required.
all not zero, but is very minimal, because hemp naturally does not attract insects. It has properties in it that it repels insects in, because of which pesticides barely used for cultivation, which then leads to lesser input costs for the farmer and better health for the person in the fields as well.
Why does hemp get softer with every wash? What's happening at fiber stage?
At the fiber stage, like I mentioned, hemp is a bast fiber, just like linen, just like jute. So bast fibers are those basic fibers that come from the stem of the plant. Unlike cotton is there's a ball that's grown on
Yes.
it flowers. So when you remove and extract fiber from a stem, there almost sometimes you get a meter long fiber, which are usually hard and harsh in nature. That goes through retting, rowing, all of these other processes. Then it gets spun into cottonized fiber and then into yarn. When we go up in the process and then eventually convert it to a garment, the initial garment has a little starchy, rough feel to it, which then breaks over time with washes in water. That is just one of the beautiful properties of hemp, where the fibers keep breaking over every wash, but by breaking, don't misconstrued it for getting weaker. It doesn't get weaker when it breaks, it gets stronger when it breaks. The fibers literally open up when they're in water and kind of form a more even surface, which leads to softness every time you wash and wear the fabric.
So, like, you have been using hemp garments since like last 5 to 6 years.
Yes.
So when you have first used it, and then whenever next time you open that particular apparel, then you must see the colors, you must see the property is intact of that garment.
Correct. So that is one of the most important reasons that brands also look for is the color fastness of the garment. So when we talk about that, we've done test results where we've taken a linen fabric, a cotton fabric, and a hemp fabric with the same whiteness in all three, kept it over time, and washed it around 50 washes, and then we've seen a discoloration in the fabrics, whereas cotton and linen would go towards the yellow, would start getting more yellowish, and hemp kind of retained its color, lost around 10% but retained 90% of its color even after 50 washes, which again contributes to the properties of the fiber. There's no additional chemical that's added in the fiber for holding or retaining color. It's just natural. It's a cellulose based fabric, but it's just the way it is made, it holds color, even prints very beautifully.
How is hemp different than linen?
Hemp is different. So they both are from the bast fiber family. The difference between them comes into longevity and into its properties. On the surface, the fabrics look the same. They have the same slubbish textures. They have the same feel and fall. But if you go into an overtime of the fabric, go into longevity of the fabric, go into the biodegradable properties of the fabric, then hemp surpasses linen in those properties, whether it's color fastness, whether it's rubbing, whether it's natural biodegradability capabilities. Hemp is much more superior than linen. And where it's funny, we're at this stage where linen was 20, 30 years back, where linen was just getting into the market. People were kind of apprehensive, what is linen and what is this new fiber? That is the same audience that hemp is having as on today. And is that's the journey we are on. So in prima facie, the fabrics look very similar to each other, but as a consumer, once you start wearing the fabric, that's where the difference starts being noticed.
Walk me through from plant to fabric. How long does hemp actually takes?
From plant to fabric. So if we start at farming, say from plantation of farm to harvesting would be around, it's a 90 to 120 day cycle, which is a very fast cycle. So it would take around say 120 days for harvestation. After harvestation to conversion to spinnable fiber would be another 15-20 days. From fiber to yarn would be another 15-20 days. So that entire thing would be around 40-45 days. And then you have finishing of fabric, which would take another 60 days. So this entire from seed to fabric would be around 200 days. So it's a farm to, if you had to say farm to fashion in the sense, take it to the shelf, it would, I think, be a good 250, 260 day turnaround time.
In ideal world.
In an ideal world, yeah. But we're also today now, we have a lot of companies that are now coming up with hemp, right? So I think the supply chain from the fiber level has started now stopping and keeping, which wasn't the case when I was researching, say 2018 to 2020. Everything was made to order. So if I had to order yarn, they would give me a lead time of 90 days because they would just keep raw fiber with them. They wouldn't convert it to spinnable fiber. As on today, we are at a stage where it's like cotton yarns, where you can call a mill and they're ready to dispatch tomorrow. But the only thing is that most of this raw material is outside our country. We don't have a lot of spinners that have taken on this. So any spinner seeing this is a big market for you all to take on, and it's an open market right now where we don't have any major players in the hemp sustainable field.
Yeah, before shooting we were discussing the same thing. When we tell the brands that hemp is there, so they started that first of all the pricing is there, then they have to educate the client, but they are not understanding that they can get a first mover advantage.
Correct.
That is
that's the biggest push any brand can have. So being the first in the market, you always remembered, and that's something the brands need to recognize and take a step forward. Take on this fiber, because you don't want to be someone who joins the race midway. This is a perfect time for anyone, even all the way up to the fashion space, to the garment space. Anyone in this entire vertical textile chooses to enter this space, they would probably get the first movers advantage in this.
Yeah, eventually when sustainability would be like 50%, 60% compulsory to the brands.
Correct.
Meanwhile, you'll be having full supply chains set.
Correct. And we're kind of reaching there. The world, in the sense, like us consumers and brands in general, have a lot of pressure to use less water, to use less chemicals, to remove synthetics. With all of these norms coming in, hemp fits right in. less water, hemp wins. Less synthetics, hemp wins. Less chemicals, hemp wins. Better wages, better cultivation, better crop rotation for farmers, hemp wins. So hemp has an advantage everywhere. But I could say this: there's a big polyester lobby and there's a big cotton lobby because it's been there for years. So to break that and come out, that is where we need more brands and more kind of manufacturers to come on and take this fabric and fiber on.
Is hemp fabric expensive? Can you break down the cost versus cotton? Is hemp fabric expensive? Break down that the cost versus the cotton, very honestly.
Yeah, so hemp fabric per se, if you see price per wear, is not at all expensive. It is very, very reasonable compared to cotton, but price per wear, just generally for the audience that is looking, is a new concept now that a lot of brands are talking about, where it's not the price you pay when you purchase the garment, it's the price you wear for the overall life of the garment. So price per wear, just for you to understand, if you pay 1,000 rupees for a garment and use it 3 times and happen to it happens to tear, it happens to fade, for whatever reason you happen to discard, and the price per wear is 333 rupees. So when you take hemp fabric, which will probably last you 3-4 generations, when you do price per wear, and that it comes negligible. In that sense, it is much cheaper than cotton. But as on today, if you have to see the price per meter comparison, it is way premium compared to cotton, only for the reason being the supply chain is very small and is probably 1/10 the size of cotton. So with any industry and any product, as scale improves and scale grows, pricing comes down, which is why we're promoting hemp and we want other manufacturers to take on, so the entire ecological footprint of hemp grows and kind of has an impact on us. So yes, as on today, hemp is more expensive, but you're not seeing the price that you're paying at disposal of your garment. This is another important thing that I tell all the brands and especially consumers is that if you buy a garment for 1,000 rupees and you're done with it, and if I had to tell you that garment was burnt at the end of the day, a polyester garment, and it caused say 10 kilos of carbon dioxide, which costs 3,000 rupees, who's paying that?
True.
No one. So here we are just seeing the point of purchase, the price at the point of purchase. We're not seeing the price for the point of disposal. That is where hemp comes in. If you see a macro cycle of hemp from birth to disposal, there's no other fiber that can cause the lowest, hemp causes the lowest carbon footprint in fashion as on today. So fashion being the second largest pollutant, even if say 10% of hemp fibers come in, it'll create a big impact. But yeah, pricing is expensive. We're hoping for more cultivation to come on, so pricing drop.
In fashion world, there are like two worlds. One where is fast fashion,
Yeah.
one is sustainable fashion. So there are people who go for fast fashion, wear the clothes for Instagram or maybe social media, then they dispose that, then they buy another product. So that
Correct.
world is there. Then another world is sustainable product where everybody is promoting the multiple use of the same clothes, harvesting wise and pesticide wise. And when that sustainability fashion world will rise, automatically the hemp supply chain will
Improve.
grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just to point out here, while you were mentioning that, I just realized another big perception, a misconception that people have about hemp is the perception that hemp is a dull fabric, cannot enter the fast fashion is price sensitive and design led. So a lot of people think when you think designs, they only think synthetics because you have the shine, you have the color, you have the feel, you have the flow, you have all of that. Everything hemp can do. It's just it needs a chance. And if hemp had to enter fast fashion, it can definitely solve the design problem and it will majorly solve the pollution problem that fast fashion is creating. So I think these two worlds can merge. It's just that the fast fashion people need to understand that you do what you want, but just be conscious of the fibers you're using. That's all.
Can hemp be blended? What's your favorite blend and why?
Yes, hemp can be blended and hemp should also be blended. My favorite blend is a little difficult to say, but hemp can be blended with so many fibers. So what we've done is we blended hemp with silk, we blended hemp with cotton, we blended hemp with tencel based, live cell based fibers, we blended hemp with bamboo based fibers. We're recently trying to, we've already blended hemp with wool. What we're trying to do is make denims now out of hemp and wool blends. So hemp is a very nice partner when you're blending with fibers. Hemp has a variety of staple lengths also. So if you have short fibers all the way to long fibers, it can blend very easily. My reason to blend hemp with other fibers is mainly two reasons. One is to make it more price sensitive, and the second is to, so hemp is like linen, has more structure, holds particular shape, and has a lot of, it wrinkles as much as linen, right? People who don't want the wrinkle, who want a little flow, that's when we add lyocell based fibers, that's when we add cotton based fibers to give them a flow and reduce the wrinkle effect on the fabric. Hemp is a great substitute to blend with most of the fibers in the market.
And when hemp is blended with other fibers, maybe the push is easier of the fiber
Correct.
to the market.
Yes. Other fibers are more known fibers, so it's easier for people to kind of accept it and try it on. Yeah.
Yes. What GSM range works best for men's shirting and hemp?
What we've seen is a blanket of 120 to 180 GSM, whereas 120 to say 140 would be like the light summer shirts. Anything north of 140 to 180 would be like winter based, heavier design, structured, more premium kind of shirtings. That's for the shirting industry. We also do, so for us in our factory, we manufacture as low as a 90 GSM fabric, which goes into like fine lady dresses. We go all the way up to 670 GSM, which goes into say cushion covers, bags, grocery bags, pouches, and dog accessories, and so on. So having this wide range of GSM from 90 to 670 allows us to service three industries. It's the fashion, where we do men's wear, kids wear, women's wear. Then we do home textile, from your bed sheets, cushion covers, pillow covers, sofa covers, all of that. And then towards the accessories, which is one of the biggest markets right now, where, like I said, bags and shoes and tote carries and pet accessories and so on and so forth. This is the range of GSM we do. We are restricted with our width. We only do 58 to 60 inches width. We are looking at doing wider widths because that's a need of the home textile as well. But I think we have a good variety in GSM.
Does hemp take natural dyes well, or it is tricky?
No, it takes natural dyes well. Like I said, it's a cellulose-based fabric. You just need to be careful with the pre-treatment and the post-treatment. As long as you have someone knowledgeable working with the fabric, there's no problem. It takes natural dyes very well. It takes your regular azo-free dyes very well. It prints really well. You can do block printing, natural printing. We do a lot of eco printing where we use leaves and flowers to get their colors onto the fabric. So we've done all kinds of experiment. So far, so forth, we've recently done even water repellent treatment on the fabric, so it acts beautifully.
And what is the fastness and other properties of the fabric?
So the color fastness after 50 washes, we got a 4.0 out of 5, which was excellent.
With natural dyes also?
No, this is with azo-free dyes. With natural dyes, the thing with the way we do natural dyes, we don't add any fixers onto the fabric. The idea with natural dyes and the consumers that go after natural dyes or eco prints, like I said, artistic kind of boutiques or design heads. So they are consumers that are very well aware of bleeding of the fabric. They're very well aware of, if you dry it in the sun, they're going to be patches. So these pure natural dyes are to be handled with care. You have to use pH neutral soaps. You have to wash it in cold water with hand. Don't mix it with any other colors. So in we don't talk about color fastness when it comes to natural dyes. Color fastness is a term that's basically used with say bulk mill based dyes.
But when we are talking about the product of hemp, like it lasts longer.
Yeah.
Then with the natural dyes, if it is dyed, then
it holds. Yes, it if you have to compare a natural dyed say cotton fabric versus a natural dyed hemp fabric, you would get a better retention in hemp versus cotton.
Okay.
We've not personally tested the natural dye fabric for color fastness like we've done for say normal prints, but I'm sure it will definitely do better than the other fabrics.
What prints or surface treatments works best for hemp fabric?
We for the prints that we used to do a lot of reactive dye based prints. We've now switched with obviously more education and understanding that pigment based inks are more sustainable. Hemp works really well with pigment based inks. Hemp does really well with block printing, hand printing techniques, tie dyes. It's also beautiful absorbent in terms of if you want to do value addition, say water repellent, stain repellent. There's also anti wrinkle treatment. So these are all the several types of finishes that hemp performs well compared to its other natural fibers.
Okay, like being in industry, I want to know, for example, some factories or processes are running with cotton or running polyester. So when they are taking hemp as a processing product, do they like there need to be a specific machinery or regular setup works there?
No,
And
so yeah, so what we try to do is we try to keep the looms or the machines that we use for hemp separate. Only for the reason is that there's a lot of contamination that happens. If you've ever ran an indigo based yarn, which we're doing with denims right now, we've had to kind of cover the entire
true.
machine because there's small fluffs, and even when you're running, say you're running a polyester besides a hemp, there could be small fibers that fly around that your eyes can't catch, and then they land onto the fabric. When you send it to dyeing and say you do a dark maroon, there'll be white
Fine.
specks that
Okay.
come, and on testing you realize, oh, there's been contamination in the fabric. So what we try to do is keep the machines totally separate, keep them cornered off from the regular, say if there are other fibers running, whether it's cotton, bamboo, and all of that. So that's something that you have to take care of, and that's in the entire supply chain, whether it's your spinning of the yarn, whether you're weaving, whether you're processing. Everywhere the lines have to be changed and it has to be cleaned, because even when we're processing a fabric, we process with Okiotex or GOTS certified process houses, which have certain chemicals which are supposed to go for hemp, which cannot run in the line when you're running other synthetic fabrics as well. So because of that, we have a lot of delay also in our delivery times, because all of that has to be matched. But that is something we take pride in, and we focus a lot in maintaining these disciplines while manufacturing.
How does hemp behave in Indian summers compared to cotton?
Hemp is a perfect Indian summer fabric. Like I said, hemp is one of the most airy fabrics that there are. It's a natural fabric. It's super breathable. Unlike your synthetics or other fabric that stick to your skin in the summer when you sweat, hemp gives you plenty amount of breeze and air, and it's so light that I've been suggesting everyone, whether it's kurtas, whether it's shirts, whether it's pants, whether it's even sleepwear, hemp should be part of your wardrobe in every summer.
Can you name few brands or few places from where consumer who are watching can purchase the hemp garments?
Yeah, I mean, in India there are many brands. Like we were discussing, I think every week there's a new brand coming up that wants to take on hemp and wants to try bamboo and wants to try these new fibers. There are some established brands that are doing really well, that are locally based but have a great international presence as well. One of the brands that we're supplying to is Veranda. They also have a butterfly mark that is a very very rare certification to have. It's like the Michelin restaurant,
Yeah.
they give the stars. Then there's a brand called Eccentric, there's a brand called Elif. There are many brands that are pan India that are focusing on hemp amongst other sustainable fibers. They're not solely doing hemp. There's B Label that is solely doing hemp, that focuses a lot on hemp based garments, and there are many more. These are the ones that are coming to my mind right now. You all should all check them out, give them a shout out, and they're doing genuine work in hemp. Also, to all the consumers, that always there's another question that comes in, which is of certification. What are the certifications, how we can certify this? And it's funny that hemp is still to be part of the Indian Gazette. Hemp still doesn't have its own HSN code, right? So when we put in, sometimes it falls under jute, sometimes it falls under linen. So in India, it's still to get its recognition. So when we have all our certifications. So as a mill, we have a generic MSME, ISO 9000. We've done a OCS certification. We have a GOTS. But to add more credibility to our fabric, we always tell our consumers, take an extra meter and get it tested yourself on your name. So there is no doubt in your mind whether I say it's 30% hemp, 30% bamboo, and 40% cotton. Get it tested at your end. And there are many ways of testing the fabric. There are many labs, as even like I mentioned, Sasmira College, that's in Boli. You can send it over there, they'll be happy to test it for you. And when something new is there are a lot of people that want to mix other properties in the fabric and not claim those, which is where I'm sitting. Also, we get a lot of customers that are like, you said the price of hemp is 800 rupees, I got it for 500. How is it? And I just tell them, send me 2 meters, let me test it. And that's the only way we would know. So certification, especially for new brands that are starting out, they want to be authentic, that want to show a clear transparency in terms of supply chain. We also offer them our certification and details saying you can name us in your brand. If there's anything, we'll take onus of the fabric that we've supplied. I forgot your question. I don't know where I went.
It's okay. It's,
Yeah.
it's about which brand they should form.
Yeah. So no, these 4-5 brands are there. There's also another beautiful brand in Mumbai called Love Pangolin, which parent company is this company called Herringbone and Sui, very well known suiting shirting company. They've done beautiful work with him. And most of the brands that we supply fabric to, we are also so impressed with the kind of garments they come out with. I feel like my baby has kind of graduated well from
True.
school or college, so it gives us a nice feeling. And that's why we like I mentioned earlier when we were discussing off camera, not to come out from a proud kind of a egoistic manner, but we are in a situation where we select our customers because hemp is such a trend and sustainability has become such a loose use words. We, because we are manufacturers, you know how it is, we want long term relations, so we don't want to work with companies particularly who are in this for the trend aspect, who are in this for a season aspect. We are trying to understand and kind of, we do a lot of hand holding, like I said, in terms of making them understand and helping them build a story for their customer. And there's a lot of feeding we have to give in terms of our story, how it can help. So this effort that goes into helping out a brand, we really need to make sure that they have the right intention with connecting with this fabric, and it's not a one time interaction or a one time buy. So as it is, slow and steady wins the race. So we're going really slow, but we want to work with companies that have a long term vision and have good ethics and morals in place.
True.
Yeah.
That's very important in the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah. Also, we're one of the only textile company, and this is just off because when me and dad keep talking, and when dad meets other textile people come to factory and he tries to show off and ask for lesser credit because our dad gives credit 60 days, 90 days, and all of that. So since 2020, when we started our first commercial sale till today, we've not sold even a meter on credit. We've kept it a point that we only do 100% advance payments, or we don't want to work with you. And there have been many companies that have tried to teach us and be a daddy in that sense and be like this, and we're just like, there are many manufacturers, be happy. The reason is because what I feel, and I've seen this with a lot of brands, is the pain, the sweat, the tears, the anguish, the kind of roller coaster ride you went in understanding, creating the fabric. No one wants to pay for that.
True.
No one wants to pay, and that's a price I'm going to ask, and that's a price I feel every creative person that's created something has the right to ask. So for me, I don't want to increase my price. My right to ask is you pay against fabric. And God, like touch wood, but we've been really lucky and really blessed with all the brands we worked, where, like I've told dad, this is a brand you told me about 10 years, they never paid anyone, here's the advance payment. He's just like, wow. And maybe it's because, like you said, first movers advantage, and not a lot of people. We have over 120 types of fabric, like I said, ranging from 90 GSM to 670. We've done all the brands. We've tied up with Leva, so we have a lot of eco-era blends that we've done with the micromodal XL. We've taken all of that. We've tied up with Asai Kasai, so we have the Bemberg. We've tied up with Lensing, so we have a lot of, from the latest A100 yarn, which is the most promoted yarn, to the Tencel Lux, to all the fancy yarns. So we've done all of this and have a nice package. So brands like a full presentation in that sense. So we've put in all that effort, and we just ask for the right price for these efforts.
What is it worth?
Yeah, just for that.
Yeah.
And I feel everyone should do that in the space where they're in some kind of a creation.
Yeah, and when you are focusing on creation, when you're focusing on manufacturing, at least that one headache of payment is gone.
Yeah, otherwise, like, not to say, but a lot of textile companies are not selling textile products, they're just a financing company.
Sure.
As long as they can manage this vendor's payment and the customer's payment, they're making money in managing payments. No one's really making money in selling the fabric. And I saw it happening with my father, and I just said, this is not what I'm going to do. And if you've given me a platform, I don't want to take this platform and run in this same way. I'd rather take advantage of it than I would be a fool, being
True.
again in the same thing.
True.
So yeah, that's something I want everyone in textiles to get out of. And it's just I think from the gray stage onwards, everyone gets stuck. The yarn people are the best. They all have advance payment. They're so happy. They always get the payment. And I'm like, if yarn can do it, why can't fabric do it? Like, why is there such a distinction between the weavers and the spinners? There shouldn't be. So I'm trying to like bridge the gap. And any viewer I meet, I tell him also, अगर 30 दिन मांग रहे 15 मांग, 15 मांग रहे 7 पे आ जा. Don't everyone also go 15 to 30, 30 to 40.
240, yes.
And
Right
that's
now.
even with the synthetic market, and that's why I wanted to get into sustainability, because even over the 8 years that I saw my father, I don't want to name a fabric, but there was this one particular fabric that he started selling at 78 rupees and just kept on going down. 77, 76,
Happens.
75, and
Repeat order, next time
yeah,
less
and
supply.
year on year it keeps going down, and year on year yarn prices are increasing. So what is happening is he's reducing his margin, and I said it, and if he doesn't do it, the guy next to him is doing it. So
True.
it's a race to the pit.
True.
I said, boss, this is something I cannot understand this. And in this race to the pit, it's just a kind of a game of volume. So who has the biggest number of machines? Then boss, the 3 4 players. How are you ever gonna compete? And with AI coming in, we've got this amazing designing software. It's like you tell me the colors or you tell me a combination, I'll give you 1,000+ combinations in checks.
True.
You go crazy. Now I don't need masters. And also, what do you really what is your USP now? What are you going to command price over? Now you command price over something that saves the earth. That's where you command price over. That's where you can say, okay, your daughter, your son are going to breathe better air if you're investing in this. And that's what we are riding on, and we're hoping people come to that awareness, which we're seeing happening post COVID. People are getting healthier about, I don't want to say bad, but this whole rpet industry that is going on with rpet is basically where they take these plastic bottles, recycle it
Yes.
to better plastic, but at the end they are still plastic. Your biggest, largest breathing organ is your skin. Now if you're wrapping that in plastic, then you're supposed to think twice about what you're doing.
What's stopping hemp from going mainstream in India?
Two things. One is the perception, and one is scale. I would say three things. I would put it like PPS: price, perception, and scale. So, A being the perception, it has to get out of narcotics. People need to understand hemp and ganja, or hemp and marijuana are two very different things. Second is pricing. People need better pricing. We are in a luxury segment right now with hemp because of its pricing. Third is supply. When I work with brands, they want continuous supply. They don't want a seasonal product. They don't like hearing things, oh, now it's out of stock, now it'll take time. So if the perception, price, and supply chain fits in, it will exit from a niche and enter a commodity like polyester, linen, and cotton is.
If a designer comes to you tomorrow, what's the minimum MOQ to start with hemp?
If it's a serious designer that comes to us, then we go as low as 10 meters to start with. We have a wide range of in-stock fabrics, like I mentioned, from 100 GSM to 600 GSM in a variety of weaves and structures. We keep fabric in stock in RFD condition that they can take and print and dye over. We also have over 24 colors that we stock and keep. We have over 30 prints that we stock and keep. We have naturally dyed prints, naturally dyed colors. We have all of this for exactly fashion designers, freelance designers, boutiques, or anyone looking to start a brand that does not want the headache of MOQs but still wants fabric fresh off the loom. By that I mean wants to work directly with a manufacturer. So we have that entire setup where 10 meters is all that you need to work with us.
It's great because so many designers are out there who can really make good out of hemp and promote hemp.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's a very good option. Is hemp just a trend or here to stay?
For us, it's here to stay. We don't believe in trends. We've done a lot of research to understand the practical benefits of the fiber. We've been over 5 years, have not only theoretically seen the benefits of the fiber, we have test results to also prove. Hemp is here to stay for a very, very long time. And like I mentioned, the UN and other national bodies are removing a lot of clause and putting immense pressure on global brands to reduce chemicals, to reduce water, to reduce synthetics, to reduce pollution in general. And to substitute these kind of norms, there are barely 2 or 3 fibers that fit the scale, and one of that is hemp. So no, hemp is not a trend. Hemp is very much here to stay.
True. And when sustainability and, as you've said, the pressure is there, eventually people and the brands and uh, whoever is making apparel, they have to source fabrics which are sustainable,
Yes,
natural. Only sustainable is not the word, like natural fabric,
correct.
long lasting fabric.
Yeah, because sustainable is, like I said, such a loose word. There are people who have reduced. I mean, I saw it on LinkedIn today morning. This guy had 700 employees and he's come to 500 employees, and he's calling himself a sustainable company because we've reduced manpower. So anyone can say anything with sustainability. So, it's for us to be honest with what we're doing and not whitewash the word and use it just for case. And that is why we've spent so much. I mean, for anyone in textiles, they know how much certifications cost. Just to give you a ballpark figure, anyone, just to do if you send one like this dyed fabric and you do a 50 wash sample, that test costs 1,25,000 with SGS lab where we got the test done. Even those guys were like, why are you doing this? We do 8 wash to 10 wash to 12 wash. Someone asked, why you want 50? It's because if I'm screaming and shouting that this fabric is so good, I need proof.
True.
And they give it so beautifully. They'll give you a 10 wash sample, a 20 wash, a 30, so you
True.
can see if it's faded, not faded. And when you get those results in your hand, you as a founder, me as a manufacturer, I feel so much more proud in what I'm making, that then I'm like, what is wrong with you brands? Why don't you all want a fabric that works like this? Either you all want someone to use your products, buy it so much, that's why you're giving them kind of less durable products. Otherwise everyone would kind of substitute
No,
their.
but if the product is long lasting, you can definitely multiply with the designs, with
Correct.
the different blends, or maybe so many new things you can do with the fabric. So
Correct.
just thinking that once my customer will wear and then throw and then coming back to purchase new, that's not gonna happen. They'll buy some other brand product because that product did not
Correct.
last.
Correct.
So yeah, that
That's true.
mentality definitely has to
Change. And I think it's changing now. People are getting, like, I don't remember going to the store or any shop and like turning over the fabric to see its label. I don't think I ever read contents. Now, not only me, but I'm seeing a lot of people getting conscious of what has gone into this fabric. You see a lot of. I went yesterday to Azot, which is this other brand, and they had, like I mentioned, they had a lot of shirts made out of knit-based fabric, and they had this big thing called linen blend, and some had just linen written, and it was like 20%, 15% linen, and the rest is viscose based or cotton based. So for me, it's very important that we kind of mention true and stay true to what we're putting in our garments, which I feel is kind of, a lot of people are just scratching the surface in that sense. And I just urge everyone that whenever you go to buy any garment, just be more conscious of what you're wearing, because it's your body. You have to be very very careful.
But linen blends, when they are mentioned, they are not lying.
Yeah.
There is a
No,
linen in
that,
it.
I mean, sorry, not linen blend. They just have linen written.
Oh,
Not linen blends. It is a linen blend, but on the tag they're not mentioning the word blend. It's just linen. So for a lay consumer, he would assume it's, I mean, pure linen, or it's most part linen, but it isn't, and it looks also so much like a pure linen. So in that sense, I felt like maybe they should be more direct with the percentage that's being mentioned.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we go into that, well, then there is a vast CBC linen, but it is absolutely not linen. In fact, it is not cotton also. They are using
Yeah, yeah.
poly slubs.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
using so much
Absolutely right.
creativity with the
Absolutely
cheap
right.
fabric.
Absolutely right. There's not. I was also. I forgot the shop's name. Me and my wife. There was. It was. They had a tag which was called linen like feel.
100% linen, like feel
Huh.
polyester.
They didn't write it. It was just linen like feel. It was
Yes,
just
I've
that, and
seen
you
that.
have to guess what. Like, we're not going to say anything else. Guess what it is.
True.
And for her, it was like, oh, that's linen. And I was like, it could be polyester, it could be cotton slub, it could be anything.
Anything.
But these are kind of things that personally don't fit well with me, and it's not like I go around pointing them out. But yeah, since we're talking, um, just be more conscious about what you're putting in and what you're saying.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I, even being a textile person, if you ask me before 6 7 years, I would have gone, seen design, and purchased the product. As I have not because I'm a textile person, but eventually you see around when you have kids, when you have babies, what you're giving them ahead, in like what you're leaving them, how the world you're
Correct.
leaving them. Then consciously, even if I'm buying online, I'll read the whole full whatever is
All the
there,
details,
all the
all the
details.
ingredients. Yeah.
And I love the brands who give all the details, like proper percentage,
Correct.
composition, GSM,
Yeah.
everything what they have mentioned. That's why we say, no, now Gen Z, if I talk about, they're absolutely not buying the product. They are only buying the story.
Hmm.
So, which is a
So
good
true.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the earlier generation will say, why you're buying so expensive product? Why like that? But somewhere somebody is breaking the chain.
Correct.
And thinking about the earth. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
So my last question to you is, what's coming next in hemp that will change how we see the sustainable fabrics?
What's coming next in hemp? There's a lot actually to look forward in hemp because it's so new. There's such little that we've experimented with the fiber. What we are doing next is we're blending with wool. That's something really big for us. There's a good potential market that we're looking at. Plus, hemp wool is something that hasn't happened in the market
I
till
have not
now.
heard.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that is something that we're excited towards. And for us, the focus is always, a lot in terms of creativity and R&D in what best use case that we can put hemp in, which kind of surpasses other fibers. So in that sense, definitely fashion and home textiles is one of the biggest one. But we are also now looking at a big market in the medicinal and the hospitality culture. So whether it's to do with hospital beds, whether to do scrubs, lab coats, whether it's to do with a lot of hotels and their kind of resort wear and any kind of uses. So hotels and hospitals have regular washing that happens, whether it's the scrubs, the bed sheets, and all of that. Majorly, they use polyester, and as you know, there are a lot of microplastics that get emitted into the water when these washes happen. So we're trying to get them to move towards hemp to adopt in some small way sustainable fibers, and yeah, that's what we're trying to break the perception and the price right now, and that's something new and exciting that we're looking forward to.
So it was great chatting with you. Even being in textile industry, I know how little we know about hemp. So thank you so much for taking out time
No,
and
it's my
doing
pleasure.
this.
Thank you so much for doing this. And it's your interest that kind of got me to talk about so much. And this topic and this fiber needs a lot of awareness and education, and it needs more eyeballs than ever. So, I'm always looking and happy to connect and talk to anyone looking to get more information on this.
Even 10 people newly hear about hemp. So might be this podcast will be.
Yeah, it'll really help.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.